Hello everyone, um, Owen Jagaban. I'm just here to take you through changing an entity relationship diagram, which was previously in Karl Crow's notation, changing it to Chain's notation diagram. In Chain's notation, we have entities being represented by these rectangles. Yeah, these rectangles are the center of each of these circles, at the center of everything. And previously we had entities like patient's data and the visiting records of the patient, the health facility, and the treatment of the patient after paying a visit, and the location of the patient. Yeah, after identifying the entities, I went on and identified the relationships between each entity, because at most entities must be connected to one another. Now, like here at the start, from the patient's data, we had this entity being represented by this diamond, whereby the patient visiting an hospital, having a patient, having a visit relationship, and after the patient visiting, the entity of the health facility with the visiting records, naming it the health facility relationship, and here down the health facility having a location, having this relationship called location. And after visiting, here the patient after visiting, the treatment, the entity between the treatment he receives and the records being the treatment relationship. Yeah, after identifying the relationship between each entity, I went on and also identified the previous attributes of each entity. Now here with the patient's data, it had attributes whereby it had the patient's ID as the primary key, being identified with this car underline. As you see, this is not having an underline. These other attributes are being represented by these ovals, but each attribute uniquely identifying an entity should be it's being represented by this oval with identifying the attribute with the underline. Now from here we add the primary key of this patient's data being the patient's ID, and having another attribute of first name, last name, date of birth, gender, and phone. This was the foreign key for the patient's data, linking it to another entity. The next of kin also being another attribute, one of the patient's data, and the date added. And went on here also connected to the visiting records entity. It had the primary key of visiting ID, the visit number, the visit date, and the patient ID also being a foreign key to the visiting records. The date added of the patient visiting also being another attribute. Also the update date being one of the attributes of the visiting record entity. And onto the health facility entity, It had the facility name, the facility type, and having also the facility ID as its primary key. The date added has one of also among its attributes, the location ID being its foreign key. The facility head and the contact details of each patient with the facility. And following on to this, also this entity had attributes. It had also the location ID being its primary key, the village, the parish, the location, the county, the region from where the patient is from, the population from how many the patient were, the coordinates and the malaria risk level. All this was with the location entity. Now with the treatment entity, it had the primary key of treatment ID. It also had another attribute of date added, the side effects of the malaria. The question was the dose and the treatment description, plus also the treatment name. Yeah. Now from here to connect my entities well and making sure that they were operating physically and properly with my entities, the relationship between each of these entities was named, and naming them the patient data attribute entity with the visit records entity. It had the relationship of one to many being represented by this K1 and N. Yeah, this simply means that all patients, at least one patient can pay a visit to, can be recorded. Yeah, this is why one patient can pay a visit, and no matter now for the patient to be recorded, the patient, okay, recording can take like more than one to many or one to infinity patients. That's why here we had an N. Reading this relationship as one to many relationship. From there, we also went on to this visit record entity with the health facility entity being a many to one relationship, whereby an health facility can have more than one visit records, but the records each record cannot be more than one health facility. Yeah, that's why it was many to one relationship. To follow on here, sorry. To follow on here, the relationship of location between the health facility entity and the location entity was one to many, whereby this meant that each health facility can be found in only one location, but each location can have more than one health facility, being a one to many. This K1 and N. Yeah, and here, and lastly, the visit record entity with the treatment entity. It was many to many, whereby many records can be taken because the patient can be treated more than one disease. and also the treatment can be included at the same time. Each treatment included can also be recorded to several patients, being a many-to-many relationship. Yeah, so thanks everyone for coming to my YouTube channel, but and I always come and post. You can feel free to ask any question, or I'm gonna provide the question in my description below. Thank you.